Hey guys, what's up? My name's Theo. I play middle linebacker for the Hilversum Hurricanes. That is in the Netherlands. That is in Europe. I play Euroball. Welcome to my channel. I do football videos every Monday and Friday here, but I vlog every single day because I need something. It's become much more critical that I do something every day through lockdowns, and it gives you an idea of how an American lives abroad and how a football player deals with not being in an area where it's the dominant sport. So my team, the Hilversum Hurricanes, this blue helmet here, is currently on winter stop. And our lockdown is supposed to end on Friday, but I don't know how that's gonna work. Tuesday is the press conferences, so yeah. But we've been on winter break this entire time, and the lockdown has just sort of extended that winter break until mid-January. That's how that's going. So today, I would typically be going out to practice and it would be starting in an hour and 15 minutes. So that's pretty much that. And this would be a full day video. I'm not sure if I would have recorded outside to begin with, considering it's rainy and this camera is not the best. I'm thinking about getting a low price weatherproof camera for practices and such, you know, because it is not perfect weather here like it is in the fun little areas where everyone thinks the weather is perfect, Southern California and Florida. Anyways, we are currently 1 degree above freezing. And so, yeah. Anyways, sorry about my last Friday video. I had just gotten my booster shot and I had forgotten the whole day until like it was almost sunset and I was going for my walk for my stupid mental health. And I was like, oh no, it's a football day. So anyways, this is a much more planned video. On Fridays, I typically go over the comments from the entire week, any news, and then we go out to practice because that is a night practice. So that's how those go. These are just normal days. We are on winter stop and we are heading towards the season finale of this NFL season. Currently looking here at current games, games that have been played already. Broncos Chiefs. Chiefs won by 4 points. And the Eagles versus Cowboys, and that was Cowboys. People are like thinking about, oh, the Buccaneers, oh this, oh that, oh this team, and I'm just like, I wouldn't be sleeping necessarily. Like, to be fair, it's possible the Cowboys have had a really easy season, but they haven't been, you know, on the crappy side. Who knows? It's 2021. This is the 2021 season, although it's 2022 currently. I've pretty much written everything off the books, like all that jazz. We'll go over standings here in a bit. I'm just going over what the Googs says. Last week I did watch the Rams-Ravens game on here. I'm not sure if I really want to do that again. USA commercials are really annoying. Being able to watch it after the fact where they cut out all commercial breaks is so much better. Because the commercial breaks are still there. They still fade out, fade in. But I don't have to sit through yogurt commercials that have apparently a side effect of death. I'm not. But anyways, and that one was a nail biter. It was 20-19. I mean, only the Rams in that fourth quarter were just ramming it in. It was actually quite fun. It was actually quite fun, you know, to fully watch. And I was talking with someone from Belgium. They were, the Rams are really letting me down. I was like, the game's not over yet, bro. You're already sad in the first quarter. I mean, I know you live in Belgium, but you don't need to extend it to the rest of us. So we're on week 18, and those were, so we got Giants versus Washington. Like I said, I don't really know if I want to watch anything because the commercials are just excessively. I've been spoiled with like the BBC and Dutch television where they have very little commercials during stuff. It's so weird to actually get to see American television. There's just like, but commercial. I can see why people over here dislike American football, the NFL, because there's so many commercial breaks. I know, you know, but I've had them watch like the full game replay without the commercials, and they actually do kind of get engaged because they're like, this game is start, stop. I'm like, that's because there's also a lot of commercial breaks, and sometimes the stops for injuries or timeouts or anything are really long, and they go to a commercial break, and it breaks up your attention on the game. So you can't really pay attention to it, but when they just go through the game, play after play after play after play, they're like, wow, this is actually kind of an interesting game. I'm like, yeah, when you get down to the actual clock running time of the game, it's really interesting. But the issue is with the officiating and the meta of the game, it does break it up a lot. In fact, that is part of the game to play that. It's basically like get everybody ready, and you know, as an offense, you're going to call a timeout and get the defense ready, get them all like, timeout. And you get the defense off their game, yada yada. Or do that so, making delays in games and figuring out when to put in it's sometimes you have to do it for a mistake and you have to reassess, and sometimes you do it strategically, and I do explain that to them, and they're like, yeah, I guess, but I'm like, but the commercial breaks is absolutely excessive. They can't lose the American attention span per se, so they just like pan over the field and the stadium during a break with nothing. They're losing airtime. It's horrible cap. But like, what game will I watch tomorrow? I don't think the Rams 49ers is going to be a nail-biter game. I could watch Buccaneers Panthers. We all know how that's going to go. The Panthers have not been great this season. The Buccaneers are way up there. I mean, the Buccaneers can lose that and the Panthers can win it and nobody's affected. I mean, the Panthers, in fact, may lose draft spots because of winning that game. I mean, it's the last game of the season. Vikings Bears. Yeah, I might watch that one just because that's like the Willie versus his mom rivalry. His mom's a Bears fan, he's a Vikings fan. I can't really figure any other game that seems interesting to watch. I'm Panthers, but that game this season is and Rams 49ers, I guess it doesn't look like a game that's going to be, with this is the game, this is the week that, you're either going to clinch it. Let's go to standings and see what's going on. Okay, Bills Patriots are still tied. They've clinched a wild card, but nobody's clinched the division. Who plays the Patriots? Okay, the Bills versus the Jets, Patriots versus the Dolphins. Okay, so that's a conference battle. And the number 1 is playing the number 4, as it's currently, and the number 2 is playing the number 3. The only thing, like if the Bills playing the Jets, that's basically a win. But if the Patriots, then we're going down to like points. Well, no, it probably still. I'm eating breakfast. Because if the Bills wins and the Patriots win, it would be down to actual points. And looking at the PFPA, it's definitely on the Bills. But if the Patriots absolutely outscore the Dolphins, then they can pass the Patriots. Or then they can pass, it's a thing. And I'm super interested how this one's going to happen. But I don't know, because if the Bills and the Patriots are fighting each other, that would be an interesting game to watch, because they are both looking to, you know what I mean? Whereas they're playing the not so great side. I mean, the Dolphins are 50%, 8-8 versus 2-10-6. Wow. The Chiefs have clinched division? Why did you change that color? Good God, Google, why did you change that color? It was gray with blue and yellow. I could tell the difference between them. Well, I mean, there's only one. Yeah, I mean, there's only supposed to be one wild card, so. We just don't know which of the Bills and the Patriots has it, but either of them have. It's just stupid color scheme. Eagles have clinched a wild card. Rams and Cardinals have clinched a wild card. See, now we're here on... Oh, blue had to move up to clinched conference. Oh. Now we have a weird color that's clinched division and clinched wild card. So the Packers have clinched conference. Whenever my phone's screen is color corrected, so I need to look at this screen through my phone. Okay, so yeah, Eagles, Rams, and Cardinals have clinched, are wild cards. Cowboys have clinched division, and then obviously the Buccaneers. But it was really hard because they're right next to each other, and sometimes I can't see that. This is why that one game with the NFL was really bad for us colorblind folks when they were doing. So, but anyways, so we're looking at Rams Cardinals. The Cardinals are a loss, so the Rams are definitely in the ahead. I mean, the Cardinals are playing the Seahawks, so, and the Rams absolutely have to win against the 49ers. Because the Cardinals are probably going to win against the Seahawks. And that makes me so happy. I love it when the Seahawks just like start falling down a hill and hitting every dumbass rock on the way down. But yeah, so we've got So I would say that the Rams need to not just win, but they need to overscore. Even though they would be 13-4, and the Cardinals will be 12. If the Rams lose this, it's awkward, because now we're getting down into the nitty gritty. But the Rams are on a 5-game winning streak, and they're playing a lesser team. So I had to eat grapes. Anyways, so yeah, that's Vikings Bears. That's just, nobody's getting into wild card for that one. They're just, like, this is the week where you're either fighting for a wild card or you're fighting for draft spots. And Panthers at 5-11. Christ. Well, at least they're not the Lions or the Giants. Who's playing the Giants? Washington versus the Giants. Okay, so we're going to chit-chat here at the end here a little bit about Antonio Brown. The stuff when it happened, because I saw it kind of live as it was happening, and it was just, it was sad to see the kind of things that were happening on Twitter and the armchair quarterbacks. After a fashion, I called them toilet commentators. That they strain themselves, there's like because commentators are basically sitting in an armchair, as is. They're not actually playing on the field. You got to go a step back. So a commentator would be sitting on the toilet. Anyways, because they're going to get themselves so overtly worked up over something small that they need to have protection in case they, mess themselves. But like they were going to Twitter, and I understand Twitter is a toxic hellhole, but it's just like, come on, guys. Like, there's a lot of CTE going around in the NFL. Like, it's just that kind of sport. But the rugby commentators don't talk about this. There was a lot of veiled racism, it looks like, going around on Twitter, which, again, toxic hellhole. Was he released from the Bucs? Yeah, he was. I mean, it's a business. It's a job. And you made a spectacle that was unfavorable to the vision of the business. So they let you go. I don't necessarily condone how he did it. I have seen numerous players forced to play on injuries that can lead to worse injuries. I've done it myself. I've probably had fractured bones, and I just kept going because I had no care for my health. But then again, I'm also not getting paid for this. But he's trying to secure more of a future in football and not, completely destroy his leg or his ankle. Completely destroy his ankle by continuing to play. And, it's like, was it a business decision? Yeah. I've read a lot of things on it, but like, people saying, oh, the CTE is making him act like a punk. I am old enough to know what they mean by that. I am, and it's this stupid, like I said, toilet commentator, Gen X mindset, where anybody who cops an attitude to the boss is lazy and ungrateful. And it's just, I don't think Antonio Brown was completely in the wrong. He was not completely in the right. But welcome to Earth. If you expect things to be cut and dry, on and off, black and white, you are looking for a level of perfection that doesn't exist. Everything is gray area. People utilize the enforced binary of extreme and not, dutiful servant versus, and there were other things that I had to report on Twitter because they were literally calling Antonio Brown some ridiculously bad thing. But even so, on various other social medias, like, nobody had any sympathy for him because he's a high-paid guy. You should be grateful for what we've given you. And I'm just like, this is perfect. This is so on brand with the United States. He also, in this article, has, apparently a great amount of self-worth. And I'll tell you this much. Guys like him in much of America are not allowed to have self-worth. You got to be humble. And there's just a lot of, again, he wasn't completely in the right. I understand being let go from the team. Will he play in the NFL again due to having an attitude? There are certainly other teams out there that are a little bit more progressive thinking, that certain things are in the moment and not characteristic of the person. But everyone's like, oh no, he snapped because of CTE. And then people bring back other players that went crazy with CTE and they're excusing behaviors or blaming behaviors. And it's just, again, we're in the gray area and people are trying to find the one thing to blame that would make their hero act like something completely different. And I'm like, he's human. He's a person, you know? He didn't want to risk his body for a game that wasn't very critical. I mean, they were the Buccaneers. Who did they play last week? I already forgot. They were playing the Jets. It was not necessary that he be in that game as a clutch wide receiver. To be fair, it was 28-24. They wound up winning, but it's the Jets. They could have lost that game and still been okay because it wasn't even a conference. It wasn't even a division game. So, whatever. After that, we will we'll check you guys on Friday. Hopefully we'll have much more news about when practices are starting back up. And we'll see how things have played out from today's games. Bye.